father never showed you how to lead your home spiritually, and now your kids are paying for it. Every night at dinner, every time you don't pray with your wife and kids, every moment you choose to stay quiet when the hard conversations have to happen, your kids are watching, and they're building their picture of who God is from you. Not from the pastor on Sunday, but from their dad on Wednesday when the week has already kicked your tail. Most men have zero clue that any of this is even happening. Now here's the truth. Here's what I need you to lean in and hear. You are the first and most powerful picture of manhood and faith that your children will ever see. And right now, whether you feel ready or not, you are shaping their eternity. That wound from your dad, yeah, I get that. It was real and it wasn't your fault. But the passivity that you're living in today, that one, that's your responsibility to break. 4 moves. That's all it takes to become the spiritual leader that no one ever showed you how to be. And none of them require perfection. All of them require is a made-up mind. I'm Tony Rivera, combat veteran, a credentialed minister, and a husband of 25 years and a father to 5 homeschooled kids. And I grew up with no spiritual leadership model in my home. None. My dad wasn't there in that way. So I stepped into marriage, into fatherhood, completely blind with no playbook, no example, and no clue of what it actually looked like to shepherd my family. And I was about to pass every single one of those gaps straight to my kids. Until I made the decision. Not a confident one, but I made a decision. And in that moment, when I stopped waiting to feel ready and accepted the responsibility that was truly already mine to begin with, that's when things clicked. And not overnight, and definitely not perfectly, but in a direction with unified purpose. Everything I'm about to give you today comes from miles and miles of rough roads that I've walked, not from some textbook. So when I tell you these 4 moves work, I'm not guessing. I lived every single one of them, and I promise they work. Let's get into it. Move 1. You got to lead yourself before you can lead anyone else. I know that sounds super basic and elementary. Now here's the skinny on why most men truly never become the spiritual leaders that their family needs. It's because when they try to leave their family to a place that they've never been themselves, they want their kids to have faith, but they don't have a consistent prayer life. They want their wife to trust them spiritually, but they're not spending time in the Word themselves. They want the fruit without doing the root work. You cannot give what you don't have, full stop, right? Spiritual leadership flows from spiritual formation. That spiritual formation starts with a daily encounter with God. Not weekly, not when you feel like it, but daily, truly daily. The most important leadership meeting that you will have every single day is the one that you will have in your alone time with God before anyone else wakes up. Before the noise starts, before the demands come, a man who starts his day anchored in the Word with God brings something into the room. His family will feel the difference, and they know the difference. And his family can feel it even when he can't name it. Deuteronomy chapter 6 declares, "These commandments that I give you today are to be on your hearts." On your heart first, then your children's. See, that sequence matters. God put it there on purpose. You got to lead yourself first. Everything else builds from that foundation. Move 2. Let's talk about the real reason that you're being passive. Let's call it out. Most men who aren't leading spiritually at home isn't because they don't care. They're passive because they don't feel qualified. They're stuck. They're waiting to know enough scripture. They're waiting to feel mature enough. They're waiting for a moment for when stepping into a spiritual leadership role feels natural and something that they can have confidence in. Problem is that moment isn't coming. You're waiting to feel qualified for an assignment that God has already given you. See, that's not humility. That's fear wearing humility's clothing. And fear has been running your house for far too long. 1 Corinthians chapter 16, verse 13. Act like men. Be watchful, stand firm in the faith, and be strong. See, Paul didn't say act like men when you feel ready. He said act like men, present tense, right now. Passivity is the original sin of men. Ask Adam. He was standing right there in the garden and said nothing. Your silence in your home has a cost. Name the fear. Reject the passivity at all stops. Resolve in your mind, because the man your family needs doesn't show up when he feels ready. He shows up when he makes the decision. Move 3. Start before you're ready. I'm not going to leave this vague, right? We're going to talk practically on what this looks like day to day. Here are 5 practical moves that will build spiritual leadership in your home. First, be informed. Know what scripture actually says about your role, not what culture says, not what society says, not what your homeboys at the office say, and not even what your dad modeled. Open the book. Second, be the example, not the perfect one, but the present and real one. 1 Timothy 4:12 says, be an example in speech, in conduct, in love, in faith, in purity. Your kids are not listening to your sermons. They're watching you live your life. Third, pray with your family out loud by name tonight. I know it feels uncomfortable. It's easy to mumble and fumble your way through it, especially when you're not used to it. Start messy. The mess is the method. See, God doesn't wait for polish. He moves through your obedience. Fourth, open the word in your home. It doesn't have to be a formal Bible study, but just a couple of verses at dinner or a chapter right before bed. The point is to establish this as a pattern. Fifth, serve sacrificially. Ephesians 5:25. Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. Christ didn't lead from a place of comfort. He led from the cross. Start now. Start before you're ready, because ready is really a myth. The man who starts imperfect is infinitely ahead of the man who's still waiting to feel qualified. Move forward. Understand what's truly at stake. Because here's what I don't want you to miss. We're not talking about you willing yourself to become a better version of yourself. We're talking about a generational shift in the trajectory of your family. It will either break with you or this will run through you. Those are the only 2 options, fellas. Your kids are forming right now their picture of who God is under your roof. See, the way you handle pressure, the way you treat their mother, the way you respond to failure, all of that is being observed and downloaded into them as we speak. Joshua 24:15 declares boldly, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. That wasn't a whisper. That wasn't a silent prayer in his mind. No, this was a bold declaration that is available to you right now. You may be starting this feeling completely unqualified and on your heels, out of your depth. And that's okay, fellas. That's normal. The question is, are you going to let that feeling make the decision for you? Or are you going to resolve in your mind and in your heart that you're going to lead this family, the family that God gave you? Because the man who decides, even imperfectly, changes his family's story. Ask me how I know. And that story starts today. We discussed 4 moves. Lead yourself first. Name the real reason that you're being passive. Start before you're ready and understand what's actually at stake. We declared your kid's worldview is actively being shaped right now. The question is what or who is doing the shaping? Are you shaping it intentionally, or are you allowing culture and society to run its course? Your family is not waiting for perfect. They can't afford to. They're waiting for a present, real man who's going to stand up, make that decision, and show up. Fellas, I'm not here to leave you empty-handed. I have a free digital resource that I made just for you. It's available right now as a digital download. It's the 3P Field Guide. The link is in my bio on this channel and in the description of this video. This is the very framework that maps out the 3 roles every man is called to walk in: provider, protector, and pastor. Fellas, download it, print it, put it somewhere where it will challenge you daily. And if this hits you somewhere real, if this resonated with you in any way, shape, or form, please share it with another brother who needs to hear this. Because that's what we do here. We don't keep good things to ourselves, right? We do this thing called life together, fellas. Join in the Wolfpack community that we're building in. Be prepared to embrace the suck, because that's where true growth and breakthrough happen. Lead your homes well, leave your legacy, and I'll see you in the next video.